Way back along an old dusty road in Ambrose, Pennsylvania, past farms and pastures, and inside what once was a country general store, you'll find the heart and soul of back porch swing music. A unique sound that can harbor no other description and only performed by the band Grist for the Mill. The band coined the term back porch swing to express their eclectic sound. Band members include lead singer Patty Holmes, David Loomis on guitar and vocals, Al Craigie as lead guitar, vocals, and most notably, the double-neck Frankenstein guitar. Standing bass is played by Carl Rahokin. On vocals, harmonica, eggs, djembe, guitar, heck, everything and the kitchen sink is played by Bob Bonnet. These talented 5 musicians bring their own unique sound together to form Grist for the Mill. The band began years ago when Bob received a phone call from an old friend.
My friend Tim moved back into town, and he called me up and he said, I've got my guitar, I'll come over. And I had to find my guitar, I didn't even know where it was. And he said, we got to get the band back together, which is a great line from the Blues Brothers. And I was like, Tim, we never had a band, but sure, why not?
What started out as jam sessions led to the formation of a 3-man band when Bob was introduced to David Loomis.
A friend of mine knew I was playing, and he said, I've got this friend who plays guitar, and he said he's looking for a gig, and I said, oh, great, I'll go over and visit with him and take our song list and see if he can join us, right? So I took our paltry song list and our cheesy folk songs and my bad guitar playing, and he picked up his guitar and he started playing gypsy jazz and Grateful Dead, and he could sing, and I was like, geez, do you mind playing with us,
We played a little guitar, drank a little wine, and that worked pretty well, so we started that way with a number of various performers.
The trio played a benefit at the Unitarian Church in Indiana, PA, where they invited the congregation to join them playing music.
Patty came up and said she had a couple blues numbers that she wanted us to do.
So I went up and sang with them, and then they said, okay, you're ours. So I started going over to Bob's house and rehearsing, and it was fun.
And she started singing the first song, and I was like, I looked at David, and David looked at me, and we were both like, okay, we have to see if she's available.
With major components of the band covered, it was Bob's idea to record a CD. However, they were short a guitarist since Tim left the band, so the search for a second lead guitar began.
We went into the studio and we were looking around for a guy who could play really good licks on this one particular song, kind of jazzy, kind of swingy. And somebody suggested Al Craigie. And so that's how Al Craigie came aboard.
The new 4 members were starting to create their sound, but something was missing. They needed another instrument to bring it all together.
Bob Bonnet has a nice sound system at PA, and he was doing sound for an event here in Indiana, and after he had done the sound for us, he said, I'd like you to come over and try to play some swing fiddle. We went out and I played some violin with him, but it just didn't fit with what they were doing. But I said, boy, you guys really need a bass player. I mean, the style of music, you need a bass player. And I happen to have a bass, so that's the way it went.
With all 5 members together, the birth of Back Porch Swing began. Each member brought forth a different musical background and influences to create a unique sound.
Since we do all the rehearsing at Bob's house, in the summertime, we'd sit on their porch, on their swing, on their porch, and we just go over songs, and so we thought that would be good to call it Back Porch Swing.
I'd say it's like we each have a different personality. We have little parts coming from all different directions, and that's what we have. Grist for the Mill is kind of like a melting pot, really.
It just has a flavor to our ears that all of us seem to appreciate. And all of us contribute to the pot and stir it up, and it comes out sounding kind of like our own thing.
The great thing we have going is that we complement each other.
Most of my early guitar playing started out listening to my father and my older brother, and he played a lot of jazz on his record player, and a lot of Benny Goodman, so I heard Charlie Christian, one of the first electric guitar players. Django Reinhardt, a gypsy jazz guy. Hendrix, someday I might learn how to play like him. And then a lot of pop music guitarists. Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead, mostly for his improvisational stuff. So there was folky stuff and there was jazzy stuff and rocky stuff all through the line.
I started playing guitar in the 60s, you know, so my influences were early on. They were like Dwayne, Eddie, and the Ventures, you know, even before the Beatles. And then it was the great rock players from England, like Jeff Beck, Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton. Then it was John McLaughlin, and you know, nowadays it's like Martin Taylor and Tommy Emmanuel.
I was in church choir and did a lot of musical stuff when I was in school, but you know, the 60s, the Beatles. I was born in '52, so the Beatles were 60s, so I was just getting into that 12, 13, 14-year-old, and that was exciting stuff. And my father was really into folk music, so I had kind of a folk music influence that sent me toward people like the Eagles and, you know, those kind of bands.
Well, I started playing in 7th grade on viola, so my background is classical. And I started to play bass, and that was entirely by accident too, because I had a car accident when I was a senior in high school, and I broke my left wrist, and I couldn't turn my arm around to play viola, but I could get my hand in this position to play bass. So I had an extra bass, and I took it in evenings. I learned how to play, and by the time the cast came off 6 weeks later, I wasn't playing viola anymore, I was playing bass.
I've been singing since I was very young. When I lived in Chicago on the south side, there was a tavern down the street. And in the summertime, they would open up the back doors. And I would stand out on the back porch and I could hear all the music, like the 40s and the 50s, the big band music and all. And I loved it. I started trying to sing it. Since I've been here in Indiana, I've done a lot of singing and I love it.
Grist for the Mill plays many different venues throughout the local area. In Indiana, they frequently play at spaghetti vendors and the Coventry Inn. They also play benefits such as the Indiana Library and the Cambria County Library benefit in Johnstown, PA. Grist for the Mill has also been featured in many local music festivals.
Last summer, we played at the Westlvania Blues and Jazz Festival, and we were the opening act. That was fun. Big stage. It's a big thing here in Indiana.
We were the lead-off band. We played right at noon, and it was really fantastic because we sounded good. There was a good crowd, and there was someone from the Indiana Gazette who took a photograph of us. We made the cover of the Indiana Gazette front page above the fold. But what was really nice about it, if you were to see the YouTube video, were the little kids in front of us that were dancing. But that's really music at its best.
When we play for a larger crowd, like the Appalachian Folk Festival, big stage, out on the street, big sound system, and typically we play for 6 people at spaghetti vendors, you know, and when you get 40 people in front of you and the song sounds really good, and you feel like you're doing pretty good, then you hear an audience that responds and they applaud. That's a rush.
One of my fondest memories was we were playing at Spaghetti Bender's restaurant on Philadelphia Street, and it was summertime. The door was open, I think the windows were open, and we were playing just inside the windows. And during this song that we were playing, I think it was playing Pennies from Heaven, if I'm not mistaken. And I looked behind us, out on the sidewalk, and there was this young couple. They were just coming down the street, and they stopped, they listened, and then they started dancing on the street. So that's really what I think is the golden moment, when you get people off their butts and start moving around on the dance floor. In this case, it was out on the sidewalk, but so much the better.
Grist for the Mill, with their unique sound and interesting name, has been very successful over the years. But none of this would have been possible without Tim King. Tim was the founding father of the band who tragically passed away from cancer. The remaining members of the band keep his spirit alive.
The name of the band, Grist for the Mill, is a song that Tim wrote. Tim was a really good blues guitar player. He had a great right hand, as David would say. His finger-picking style was really powerful, and he played great blues.
We still capture some of Tim King's spirit. He was a guy who was pretty amazing. He, jack of all trades, he raced motorcycles, he worked construction, he worked here and there. Interesting character, for sure.
Tim was a great musician. He was great. I liked him, and you know, he was interesting to talk to. So we got to be friends, and he and Bob were really, really close.
Yeah, I'm grateful to Tim, and you never know when someone in your life is going to leave, you know. So it's ironic, it's weird that Tim was the inspiration for the band, and he's no longer with us. And I'm glad that for his sake that we are continuing.
Grist for the Mill plans to continue to play shows and possibly record in the studio more in the future. One thing's for sure, the members of Grist for the Mill are truly passionate about what they do.